Welcome in to Player Profiler. Today, I'm your host for the Monday edition of Player Profiler Today, Tyler Knably at PPR Tyler on Twitter. And the original title of this video was going to be Malik Neighbors dominating camp, looking great out there, joined practice against the Lions today. And we'll talk about that a little bit, but oh my goodness, we got Brandon Aiyuk news, rolling in the past hours. What does it mean? What do we believe? All that good jazz. We're going to hit some quotes, coach speak from some training camp, coaches, all that kind of stuff. We're going to dive into NFL training camp, I should say. But before we do any of that, let's just, let's reset. And then we're going to get into all of it on Player Profiler Today, baby. Okay, like I said, I want to start with the Brandon Aiyuk news. Now, let's do this instead, and then let me move my overlay off. Here we go. Okay, so this was kind of the tweet that set everything off today. The Steelers and the 49ers have agreed to a trade that sends the star receiver Brandon Aiyuk to Pittsburgh. Cam Marino, NFL. I think Cam Marino used to work with, I believe, USA Today. Had a stint with the Falcons, I believe, but not. I would say, like, I kind of have a rule in life. If it doesn't come from Shefty or Rappaport, I don't believe it. So that's kind of what I was looking at when I saw this whole thing today. And I just don't know what to believe. And then we got a Rappaport's tweet right here that says, Brandon Aiyuk more likely to be traded than sign extension with the 49ers. No trade in place, though. So it looks like he is going to get traded, but we just don't know what the trade is going to be. That's kind of like the mystery, like where is he going to go? Apparently the Browns were in. Maybe it sounds like Aiyuk might have turned down signing an extension there. Obviously the Pats have been involved in some wide receiver market type stuff. Carolina's always, kind of been sniffing around as well. They kind of got Deontay Johnson, though. We haven't heard much from them since that happened. And then we obviously have the Pittsburgh Steelers, which have kind of been the team that's been talked about the most with Brandon Aiyuk, I feel like the past week or two. You also obviously have the Commanders with the Jaden Daniels connection. That was a huge story, in the offseason, a little more like a couple months ago. But this is just like this is like a trade that could have huge fantasy implications for so many players because it's such a big player. And normally, like, we see these stuff, like the holdouts and like I want to be traded, and it never goes through. Like kind of like the T. Higgins situation. Like that's kind of what we normally see, where player unhappy with deal, they're not going to get their contract, they're on the franchise tag, they're going to play out the franchise tag, and that's kind of the end of it, right? The trades usually never go through, but with this, like, there has been so much smoke. We got, obviously, just this quote right here is kind of the big part of that. We're like, okay, I actually think that Aiyuk could be traded. Like, this is like, I would say, like, he's probably going to get traded. So, like, and if you are a drafter, you're doing dynasty drafts, you are doing, underdog, best ball drafts, any type of drafts, I think right now, you should definitely be avoiding, I would say, George Pickens. And I wouldn't even go Aiyuk either, because I think if Aiyuk goes to the Steelers, like, his stock has to go down, right? Because maybe he's the number one guy there, but he feels like he's kind of like the number one pass catcher in San Francisco right now. It's a really good offense. Like, you're going from Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, high scoring offense, to Arthur Smith, Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh, middle of the pack at best right now. So it's just, I don't really love the Aiyuk to, like, in terms of his value per se, like by himself. Maybe, maybe it's like Arthur Smith's not the head coach, so Mike Tomlin has more to say. Like, we're gonna get Aiyuk the ball. Like, if they trade for him and they give him an extension, like, obviously you would think they're gonna give him the ball. That's what we thought with Pitts. That's what we saw with London, Bijan, all that kind of stuff with Arthur Smith. But Arthur Smith's not the head coach; he's the OC. There's a big difference there. The buck stops at Mike Tomlin, not at Arthur Smith. So it should be interesting to see what goes on there. But also to George Pickens, if Aiyuk does go to Pittsburgh, this is brutal for George Pickens. Dynasty, managers, redraft managers, all that kind of jazz. Just not great either for George Pickens. Obviously not going to be the number one option anymore. Going to be the kind of the second guy. Kind of like reduced, like, big play guy. Kind of like just big play guy. We're like, he's still going to be good. Like the Steelers stock up. Like Russell Wilson, stock up. Justin Fields, stock up, right? I would say George Kittle, stock up. Deebo Samuel, stock up. CMC, kind of the same. Brock Purdy, kind of the same. Like even kind of thing. I feel like the only big movers would be Aiyuk slightly down. George Pickens pretty good, trending down. And then obviously like Russ, Justin Fields straight up. Pat Freiermuth too, stock down. But Najee Harris, though, I feel like Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, stock up. Better offense, more goal line opportunities, better touchdowns, more better highs. You want running backs in the high scoring offenses. So Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, stock up. But it's just like I said, we don't get many trades where like this impacts so many different pieces. Like two teams, it's going to impact heavily if this trade does go through. Same thing with the Commanders, where like Jaden Daniels stock up, Terry McLaurin, shoom, Jahan Dotson, shoom. Not good for those two. But again, until we see more about it, I think that's kind of all I really have to say about this topic. Just because we it's all speculation right now, but it does look like he's going to get traded. We just don't know exactly when/if or when/where that's going to be. So we'll keep you updated on Player Profiler today. I'm sure it'll be a big news coming soon. I really hope that we just get it during the show. That would be awesome if we could just get it during the show. Yeah, it's crazy how much traction the Aiyuk trade rumors gotten today. It's actually crazy, Anthony. So okay, let's switch over to some training camp stuff. Let me pull up my bookmarks here. Sorry. Just want to go full screen here for 2 seconds. I just want to get the clip that I want to get here real quick. Which one is it? I got to find it. Here we go. So there was some update. There was obviously, if you didn't see it, there was a Gino Smith, injury potential with him here. So I just want to play the quote from Mike McDonald, the new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, just talking about that injury. You can kind of read the quote, but we'll just play it here real quick too.
How's Gino Smith doing right now? I think he's good. We're still going through that process, but looks optimistic. Do you expect him back next week? Do you know? I think there's a good chance we'll see him next week.
So good for Gino. I'm a big Seattle bag holder as of right now. So I was very scared about the Geno Smith thing, because if Gino goes down, yeah, you got Howell in there, but like I'd rather have Gino, for DK Metcalf, for Noah Fant, for Jackson Smith and Jigba, all those players where Gino is going to be the engine that kind of makes all those guys go. That's kind of what I've been excited about, because Gino's like the perfect vehicle for all of those guys, and I think he can get there with the passing attempts volume that we're going to see, that we think we're going to see in Seattle this year. So it's good to see that Gino is okay. Also, I don't have it on my bookmarks, but Leggett also, that came out that it was going to be a more day-to-day injury with, I think they said, a bone bruise or something like that on his foot. So x-rays were negative, MRI was negative. So that's really good news for Xavier Leggett, rookie, first-round pick for the Carolina Panthers. Really, really good news for him. Now let's go back over here. And this is a Pollard quote. So I thought this was interesting too. And I think we've talked about this last week, but the Titans have, the only thing they said, and again, my favorite account to follow this stuff is, and they kind of said it right here, is Coach Speak Index. He's been on, I believe his name is, I don't want to mess up his name, so I'm actually not going to say it because in case I get it wrong. But he has said that he's had these quotes for weeks on this account. Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears are 1A, 1B. There's not a starter; they are co-starters. And today they're both going to play quite a bit, and they just got listed as co-starters today. So nothing shocking here with the Spears Pollard thing. And we've kind of seen more of a conversion on their ADPs where they're a lot closer together. I believe there are only 7 spots of ADP value between them on Underdog right now, still with Tony Pollard leading the way, but it's still very, very good to see if you're a Tyjae Spears bag holder like myself. And because like it's kind of the vision that we're seeing coming together. It's the coach speak is still coach speaking, so to speak. And the Tyjae Spears bag holders are absolutely this is massive news for them. So again, still go get Tyjae Spears. I still prefer Tony Pollard over Tyjae Spears personally, because of the fact that Tony Pollard, just a bigger back, feels like he's going to get the goal line work. Tyjae Spears doesn't feel like a goal line guy to me. So that's the only thing that I'm really, holding out with Tyjae Spears. I love him. I loved him at his value. I'm not drafting him as much, at his ADP, because I loved it when it was a lot lower than Pollard. Now it's more, 50-50, kind of like how this quote reads, but still Tyjae Spears is not a bad player to go and grab in redraft, in Dynasty. I like him in both of those formats. So we're going to get more into the news, talk about some other stuff that I have on the agenda for today. But before we do that, let's hear a word from the Podfather about the Dynasty Dominator, which I just had a Dynasty Startup Draft. Use this, and it worked perfectly. And I actually had a friend get it too, and his Dynasty team actually turned out really, really good. So again, Dynasty Dominator, can't recommend it enough. Let's hear what the Podfather has to say about it and what you need to know about it. Let's go.
Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from PlayerProfiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
It's going to be very well worth it. Great, great app. Definitely go check that out over on the App Store or Google Play, wherever you get all of your apps. Now, let's talk about Malik Neighbors. And this guy, again, this was the original title of the video. The live stream for today was talking about Neighbors. This guy is just like, it's just over the top news. Like, it's not like we're just getting coach speak, we're getting news. Like, we're seeing it with our own eyes. It's a new clip every single day of this guy making plays. And like, am I a tad worried? Now, I don't think it's the end of the world, but Marvin Harrison, like, how many clips of Marvin Harrison have you really seen, like, dominating? Maybe it's a New York, Arizona thing. I think that could definitely be part of it, where New York's just such a big market. People love the Giants. People really care about the Giants, obviously. So you're going to see a lot more clips coming out from those camps, like the Giants, like, maybe LA, Chicago, all that kind of stuff. But we are seeing unbelievable clips from Malik Neighbors. And this is the one from today, a joint practice with the Lions. Let's look at the catch. Let's go full screen for this one. Here we go. Look at this thing. Look at this. We need to pay attention to this real quick. The referee called him out of bounds. He said he was out of bounds. If you look right here, wait here. Okay, look at this. So we got, catch, right? 1 with the right foot. 2, how is that not in bounds? How is that? Look at, you can't even see at the bottom. There's still green. I can see it. Maybe it's hard to see on your screen. I promise you, there is still green right here. This dude was in bounds. I don't know who this referee is. I hope they're not ref in real NFL games. That is it. That is about in bounds as it gets, right there. Am I blind? That is it. That is as about in bounds as it gets. And it's not. And there was no bobble. Oh wait, no, yeah. No, he's got the ball. He has got the ball. But no, the referee called him out. Just wanted to say he was not out of bounds. Great catch, Malik Neighbors. That would have been a nice Devin Singletary, goal line rushing touchdown at the 1. So Malik Neighbors, I truly think this isn't just because I'm seeing all of the stuff. I was on the Dynasty Roundtable a couple months ago before the draft. I said Malik Neighbors was my wide receiver 1 in the class. I truly think if you can go out there and trade, it might be a lot harder to do it now because people are also seeing all this stuff on Twitter. But if you can go out there and you can trade Marvin Harrison plus, you can trade Malik Neighbors plus for it's Marvin Harrison for Malik Neighbors plus. That's what I meant to say. If you were a Marvin Harrison owner, I would be looking at Neighbors and then maybe get a little bit back, because considering Marvin Harrison probably looked at as more of a complete prospect, but man, I just think Neighbors is that guy. I truly do. So I just wanted to talk about the Neighbors thing real quick, and let's hit a couple more coach speak things on here before we get out of here. One of the other ones I want to hit was the Chase Brown thing. Obviously, over the weekend we had it wasn't even coach speak; it was left tackle speak from Orlando Brown saying that if I played fantasy football, I would definitely be drafting Chase Brown. Which, like, I would rather hear that from like the offensive coordinator, maybe not the left tackle. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that. The left tackle's not calling plays. He's there to do his job, not like scheme up stuff for Chase Brown. But this is coach speak right here. So let's listen to Zach Taylor talk about Chase Brown and kind of just where he sees him in this offense for 2024. Let's take a listen from Zach Taylor.
Favorite thing you've seen out of Chase Brown this game?
Consistency. You've heard me say this word over and over because it's my favorite training camp word, but Chase has been very consistent, and that's what we're counting on from him. And he didn't get a ton of opportunity last year, and so now is the first time he's really getting a bunch of reps. And I like how consistent he's been and dependable he's been.
Is there a certain way to measure that for a running back?
You just feel it, as a play caller. Your quarterback feels it. The play caller feels it. Getting in phase with the line in the run game, understanding who to protect in the pass game, understanding where to be when you don't have protection on a check down. I've really liked what I've seen. He's done the right things there. And so how do you measure it? There's not errors being made. And that's.
So basically the thing that I was always worried about with Chase Brown, now I haven't been a huge Chase Brown guy up to this point. Now I'm kind of, in on him, really looking to start clicking him. I just clicked him in my dynasty startup draft I did the other day. But the thing with Chase Brown was like, I saw a post going around where it's like Chase Brown played more snaps on special teams last year than he did like on offense. But that doesn't seem like it's going to be the case this year. Like he literally says he didn't get a ton of opportunity last year. And so now is the first time he's really getting a bunch of reps. I like how consistent he's been and dependable he's been. These are two words that you love to hear from the head coach and the play caller. Consistent and dependable. Dependable more like, because when I think dependable, I think third down. I think he's going to stay on the field because he can pass pro. He also, like, people think he's just like some sort of like satellite scat back. He was the man at Illinois. Like, he was a true 3-down workhorse at Illinois his last year. It took him kind of a little bit to get there, but he was really, really good at Illinois. I really liked him coming out last year. It kind of came together for him at that little bit of the end last year, but he's going to have opportunity this year. I don't think Zach Moss is going to be their number one pass catcher. I don't think Zach Moss is really a guy that's going to be like, oh, yeah, he's going to keep Chase Brown off the field for a majority of the reps. I really like what we can see from Chase Brown this year. And if anything happens to Zach Moss, Chase Brown can step in there as that 3-down workhorse. I truly believe that. And maybe not be Joe Mixon, but still be a pretty good, you're going to want him week to week, top 15 play potentially. Depending on what he does with those carries, what he does with that opportunity. So I really, really love Chase Brown and what we can see from him this season. Now let's get to one more. We got the Aiyuk stuff. We got this. That's an Anthony Edwards thing. Leave me alone. Now this is I don't think we have talked about this on Player Profile today yet. It's the Jonathan Brooks thing. So if you've seen it, I'm sure most of you have. But basically, we got Dave Canales coming out saying that Jonathan Brooks isn't going to play the preseason. Looks like he's going to miss they want him to come back around week 3 or 4. I think there probably is still a chance he does start on the PUP. So let's just read the quote. He said, "He will not play this preseason. He's doing great. I saw him running out a little bit before practice. They have a progression on him. He feels stronger and stronger every day. Physically, this is a guy that can really make an impact for us. So again, want to be really smart about when we bring him back in." Basically said there's a chance for the PUP, which wouldn't be great. But, if you're for Dynasty, I don't think this changes anything for Brooks. It's more of a redraft thing where maybe he does fall more in those underdog drafts. So I think it just sounds like kind of all the stuff I've been hearing from Dave Canales, from the Panthers organization, is they want to be very, very careful about, their second round pick. Like, they don't want to just be like, okay, yeah, we need to win. Like, they're not competing this year. I think we kind of know that they're not competing. So they want to be really intentional and really safe about what his ramp up period may look like. And again, Canales said they're looking at weeks 3 to 4. That would be great. But again, this is a guy with a long career in front of him, somebody that we think very highly of. So we want to make sure that we're really smart with this one. So that kind of makes sense with all of that. Also, too, I realized we didn't talk about this yet. Addison faces DUI misdemeanors. The court case for that was scheduled for, I believe, October 6th. So until we get a ruling on that, I don't know if Addison's going to get suspended. It could be another one of those things where it gets just pushed, kind of kick the can down the line where it gets pushed into 2025. I think that's definitely a real possibility for the Jordan Addison piece of all this, maybe, and I think at the most it'll be 3 games. So maybe at his midseason, worst case scenario is like they just like he's just out the fantasy playoffs. But I don't think that's very, very small likelihood that's going to happen. So the Addison part of that is good too. Let's end it with a nice little Pop Douglas hype right here. This is Gerard Mayo talking about Pop Douglas. We'll end with this, but basically said just kind of just some nice Pop Douglas, some propaganda for all you Pop Douglas fans out there.
Well, first and foremost, it's just the quickness and the speed. He is a smaller guy, but he's very elusive, and just his ultimate competitive attitude, I think, really helps the offense go as far as energy is concerned.
There we go. Again, please go follow Coach Speak Index on Twitter. They are really on top of all this stuff that's coming out, from training camp, from just the NFL in general. Also, go give 32 beat writers a follow on Twitter. They're a new programming partner with Player Profiler, so make sure you go follow 32. It's at 32 beat writers on X. And that's going to do it for me today, your Monday edition of Player Profiler today. We will see you next week. See you next week on Monday. I'm sure maybe Aiyuk is a Steeler or a Brown or a Patriot or a Commander. Only time will tell. Maybe he's still on the 49ers. We don't really know, but we will see you next week on Monday. And I'm also going live in 9 minutes at 6:30 p.m. Central on at PPR Tyler on YouTube and on Twitter to do a underdog draft. So come hang out with us there if you're watching right now. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week on Monday. See you later. Everyone have a great rest of your week. Let's make it a good one. Fumble that outro. Who cares? See ya.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free, and one of our key missions is to make as much statistics and information and deep analysis available on playerprofiler.com for free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In package to continue to make all this possible. If you can't do All In, that's okay. We have a draft kit. Or you can just subscribe to the player rankings. Those now include tight end premium FFPC ranks, our brand new data analysis package will blow your hair back. And of course, there's our Dynasty Deluxe and our DFS Dominator. Take a moment, check out our premium services to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get this